Hey guys, it's Todd from Like Minded Lunatics, bringing you, it's another drink, play, swear. Hey, it's all we do around here. I mean, besides contemplating the complexities of heteronormativity, it's all we've ever done since we learned that term around here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Drink, Play, Swear, and welcome back to Like Minded Lunatics. You know that Like Minded Lunatics is not just me here at Drink, Play, Swear. No, it's not. It's also my buddy Mark Gifford, the co-founder of this outfit. He's got the Bang Friday night videos. If you're not watching those already, I mean, you're doing yourself like a real big disservice. So please watch those. And bang, if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding. I like you fine. Hit that subscribe button so we can see how big this family of like-minded weirdos, degenerates, runaways, ne'er-do-wells, and asteroid lovers is getting. It gets bigger every day, and we're excited about that. Okay, what do we do here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, it's pretty simple if you know the story. We play a game, usually a classic one. I pair it with a beverage, you see. And we talk. We tell stories. What are we playing here today? It is 1979's Atari classic, Asteroids. Now, this is one of those games that was before my time, but I grew up hearing about older kids talking about it, and I'm excited to play it. It's one that we have not covered yet on the channel, so we're going to do that. What am I drinking today? Well, it is something I've covered on the channel quite extensively, you might have noticed. This is a Jim Beam and Coke. What I need you to do, you see, is get yourself a beverage, sit down with me, have a good time, and let's see what happens. Okay? Here's to it. Get yourself something. Please. You like the extra little bass there at the end? I've been practicing that. Please. Okay. All right. Asteroids. I was never good at this game, and I didn't have it as a kid, so this is like me trying to play Grandpa's Instruments. You know what I mean? Remember that show Metalocalypse? Grandpa's Instruments? Like the way they would, these heavy metal dudes would make fun of guitars that weren't plugged in. Okay, what are we getting into in terms of the story today? Well, I'm excited about this. It's a subject we have covered before, but not quite in this way. I want to talk about gender. And I want to talk about sexuality a little bit, because I think it's something that we're all kind of thinking about, and some of us are more comfortable to talk about, and others of us are not. And so I'm going to share my story today, but I invite you to consider your own story in the realm of gender and sexuality, because it's worthwhile to think about, I think, for each of us. So I'm going to get into it. Now, here's the thing, is that I am real boring, okay? And what I mean by that is I am a cisgendered, heteronormative white male, okay? And for those of you not hip to the language, what I mean is I'm a straight dude who likes girls. Yeah? Okay. Specifically, I like my wife. Don't worry about me saying I like girls. But, happily married, but it's my whole life I have felt pretty culturally normal in that way. I know that that's not everyone's experience, and yet even if I have always felt pretty normative in my culture, it's still been an interesting road. So I want to share that with you just a little bit today. When I was a little kid, let's just give a random age, 8, 9 years old. Whoa, look at these asteroids coming. This is when it gets stressful, right? The big ones start coming at you. The sound is really cool in this game. Let's take a minute for me to shut up and just listen. Well, there we go. When I was a little kid, I was sensitive. I really was. And I noticed in myself that even though I liked girls, or I liked the idea of girls. I definitely wasn't, at 8 years old, I'm not talking to girls. Probably not talk to a girl besides my own mother, right? Ever. Oh, I should have done LML. When I achieve a good score, we're going to go LML today, okay? But as a kid, I was nervous around girls, but I knew I liked them. What's interesting about the whole gender identity thing is that I didn't really identify with a lot of the boys around me, 8, 9-year-old boys. Why? They were aggressive, they were confident, they were competitive, they were athletic in a way that I was not. And I was sensitive. I was quiet, believe it or not. I was a quiet kid before puberty, and I was artistic. I wanted to sit around and read and draw and write, and I didn't identify with these like strong, loud dudes. Yeah, and so I didn't really feel like I fit in with the other boys, always. Moving into high school, it got easier because I got tall. I grew like a foot over a summer between 8th grade and 9th grade. My voice dropped, and I fell in love with rock and roll, heavy metal. I was also like a football fan, and so I fell into very easily in my teenage years into the sort of heteronormative behavior, right? You get with dudes, and what do? You bust on each other for being dumb. You watch football together. You joke around, and eventually, when you get old enough, you start drinking beers, don't you? And that feels pretty simple. And so I remember a transition from moving from 8, 9 years old, feeling sort of sensitive and awkward, to being a teenager, say 15, 16 years old, and feeling like masculine and tough. It felt good. What I wasn't really thinking about at that time was that all this is performative. Meaning, even if we feel masculine or we do identify as male, we're sort of acting. And what I mean by that is we're trying to feel comfortable, and we're trying to find ourselves, and we're sorting it all out. Give me a second here. So, the problem is you move on to college and things change again. Because in high school, being a dumb dude, you're encouraged to be sort of ultra male and masculine, right? I think about this these days. I think about this concept of toxic masculinity. And I wonder, how did all this happen? And why is it that even the kindest, most thoughtful men in my life are occasionally toxic in their behavior, either with women or with other men in their lives? I think it probably has something to do with the fact that we were encouraged to do so as young men. That when you're a young man, you're encouraged to be competitive, aggressive, and the women in your life, at least when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, the women in your life usually demurred to you. They were submissive, whether they were girls in your grade or even like sometimes your mom or your aunt or your grandma, because you're a boy. You're supposed to be sort of catered to, right? And the other men in your life, they also want to see you be competitive and maybe aggressive. It's interesting. It reminds me of this documentary I saw once on National Geographic, okay? It's like these gorillas, yeah? These gorilla males are fighting. And they're, young men. And they're fighting for, like, dominance in their group. And they're also sort of fighting for a girl, right? And these two guys sort of go at it physically, and they're not trying to kill each other, but they're like sort of snarling at each other, and they're wrestling, essentially. And when one of them overpowers the other, that one sort of becomes like, a more important member of the group or the tribe or whatever you might call a group of gorillas. Yeah, I didn't look that up ahead of time. But what's interesting to me is that the dude who submits, the dude who loses that fight, he doesn't get bitter and like leave the tribe and like hate everyone or have like a blood oath against the dude who won. No, he becomes submissive and actually becomes friends with the gorilla who bested him. And, hangs out with him, helps him gather things for gorilla babies, and even would clean him, to take the bugs off of him and everything. And I thought, that's interesting because that's a lot like men in the human world, in that men are rewarded for being aggressive and maybe even mean. I get to college and things sort of change a little bit because you move from that sort of animalistic teenage era to a different kind of thinking. Thinking about, for me, about art, about music, about literature, and gotten more in touch with my feminine side or sensitive side. And this is one thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, is I wonder if we're going to get to a place where we can move away from calling strength and aggression from being masculine and sensitivity and kindness away from being feminine. We just figure out who we are as individuals without that language. These days, I hang out with my kids a lot and we have dance parties, right? And sometimes I will pick a Metallica song and I will stand in my study here like James Hetfield. And I'll be masculine, I'll show my teeth, and I'll jam out, right? Very masculine. And they love it and they run around copying me. But I got to be honest with you. Sometimes I play Taylor Swift and I, give some duck lips and I move my hips a little bit because I'm not so worried about being as performative for others. Rather, couldn't gender performance be about what makes you feel good? What makes you happy? And I haven't really felt until this age that I'm capable of thinking about that. So anyway, Asteroids is fun. I just wanted to talk to you about gender and about sexuality because, as I said at the beginning, my experience is very heteronormative. My experience as a white male in the United States has been pretty easy. But I know a lot of people haven't had that. And I know a lot of people spend a lot of time questioning what they feel, what they think, and also questioning whether the people around them are going to approve of that. So wherever you are in that journey, please know that ain't nothing wrong with where you are for me, okay? I'm glad you're here with us, and let's finish up these beverages in between now and the next time I talk to you. I'm Toddy McWright. I'm T. Rizzy. I'm Todd. See ya.